Welcome back, dear students. Today we'll start the second chapter, Force and Laws of Motion. In the previous chapter, we have described the motion of an object along a straight line in terms of its position, velocity, and acceleration. And we have described uniform and non-uniform motion. But we have not discovered why does the speed of an object changes with time. Do all motions require a cause? What is the nature of this cause? For many centuries, the problem of motion and its causes had puzzled scientists and philosophers. A ball on the ground, when given a small hit, does not move forever. Such observation suggests that rest is the natural state of an object. This is believed until Galileo Galilei and Isaac Newton developed an entirely different approach to understand motion. In our everyday life, we observe that some effort is required to put a stationary object into motion or to stop a moving object. We ordinarily experience this as a muscular effort and say that we must push or hit or pull on an object to change its state of motion. In fact, force can only be explained by describing what happens when a force is applied to an object. We have studied in our earlier classes that force can be used to change the magnitude of velocity, change its direction, and force can change the shape and size of the object. Now we'll see what is balanced and unbalanced force. Observe the figure. A wooden block on a horizontal table, two strings X and Y are tied to the two opposite faces of the block. If we pull the string X, the block begins to move to the right. Similarly, if we pull the string Y, the block begins to move to the left. If the block is pulled from both the sides with the equal force, the block will not move. Such forces are called balanced force. The force which do not change the state of rest or of motion of an object is called balanced force. Let's consider two opposite forces of different magnitude pull the block. The block would begin to move in the direction of the greater force. Thus, two forces are not balanced, and these forces are called unbalanced force. The force which changes the state of rest or of motion of an object is called unbalanced force. You can see the similar examples in your textbook. From this, we come to know that if an unbalanced force is applied on the object, there will be a change in its speed or in the direction of motion. Thus, unbalanced force is required to accelerate the motion of an object. Let us watch the Galileo Galilei's experiment.
Motion of objects on an inclined plane. When ball is rolled down from inclined plane, velocity of ball increases. When ball rolls up, its velocity decreases. In case of doubly inclined plane, the ball released from one end rolls down the plane and then again climbs up the other plane. If angle of inclination of both plane is equal, then distance travelled by ball in second plane will be same as distance travelled in first plane. Also, height travelled on both planes is same. Now consider another case where angle of inclination of second plane decreases. In this case, ball travels larger distance to reach original height. With further decrease in angle of inclination, there is an increase in distance. So, a situation comes where angle of inclination becomes 0. The ball will continue to travel in same straight path, trying to reach same height. Practically, this situation proves false because the frictional force of surface opposes motion of ball and allows it to stop after a while. Friction can be reduced up to an extent if surface is smooth or surface is covered with smooth substances like oil.
Hope you all understood. Newton further studied Galileo's idea on force and motion and presented three fundamental laws known as Newton's law of motion. Newton's first law of motion states that an object remains in a state of rest or of motion unless compelled to change its state by an unbalanced force. In other words, we can say all objects resist a change in their state of rest or of motion. The tendency of an object to stay at rest or at motion is called inertia. Therefore, first law of motion is called as law of inertia. Let us watch the examples.
Body remain in state of rest in the bus. When driver applies brake, the motion of bus slows down and body maintains its state of rest due to inertia. When bus starts, body tends to fall backward. This is because feet are in contact with the bus. As motion of bus starts, feet experience motion, but rest of the body tries to be at rest and hence the body tries to fall backward. While taking a sharp turn, body gets thrown to opposite side. This is because body tries to maintain its motion in straight line.
We will see inertia and motion. Inertia is the natural tendency of an object to resist a change in its state of motion or of rest. That means if body is at rest, it tends to be at rest. If a body is moving, it tends to keep moving. We know that it is easier to push an empty box than a box full of books. Similarly, it is easy to kick a football but difficult to kick a stone of the same size with the equal force. Let us watch some examples.
Inertia and mass. Larger the size of object, higher will be the tendency to maintain the position of rest. Hence, larger will be the inertia. For example, inertia of train will be comparatively larger than that of a bicycle.
From this we understood that objects with more mass have more inertia than an object with a smaller mass. We can define mass as the mass of an object is a measure of its inertia. We will continue in the next class. Thank you.